Rapper Quavo allegedly failed to pay, now this is what TMZ say, a massive seven-figure tax bill.
Quavo went from rich to flat broke overnight, and his reaction to it is honestly hard to watch. Reports say he got hit with a $3 million federal tax lien, and the IRS have laid claim on everything he owns until he pays up. So what exactly happened? Let's break it down. What the IRS filed and why it hits different. January 2026, the IRS pulls up on Quavo. No warning shots, no soft notice. A full notice of federal tax lien filed against Quavius Kiat Marshall in the state of Georgia. According to documents first obtained and reported by TMZ on March 4, 2026, the IRS says Quavo did not pay his federal income taxes for 3 years straight. The bag they want back, $212,644.33. That number did not show up all at once. It built. The IRS is claiming $915,760 for 2021, $887,486 for 2022, and $1,497.79 for 2023. Every year the bill got larger. That pattern is not an accident. That is 3 years of compounding penalties and interest stacking on top of unpaid principal. The streets caught wind of the TMZ report fast. Here is how one commentator clocked the numbers in real time.
The IRS claim Quavo owes $915,000 on one event in 2021, and in 2022 he ate $887,000.
Nearly 2 bands shy of $2 million before you even get to 2023.
And then in 2023 he owed $1.1 million, bringing his total to $2.9 million that he owed.
Now let's be clear on what a notice of federal tax lien actually is, because a lot of people see the headline and think the feds are kicking in doors. That is not what this is, at least not yet. A federal tax lien is the government's legal claim staked against every asset a taxpayer owns. Property, vehicles, bank accounts, royalty streams, future income, the whole portfolio, locked down until the debt is resolved. The IRS files it after they have assessed the tax, demanded payment, and been ignored. Billboard's March 4th, 2026 coverage pulled the actual IRS language from the filing. We have made a demand for payment of this liability, but it remains unpaid. Therefore, there is a lien in favor of the United States on all property and rights to property belonging to this taxpayer. Translation: Uncle Sam is now first in line on everything Quavo owns. You want to sell the mansion? IRS gets paid first. Try to move assets? IRS is already in the building. It does not mean immediate seizure, but it means the government has a senior grip on the whole operation until that bill is cleared. The lien was recorded in Georgia, where Quavo lives, where his house is, where his assets sit, and the timing of it hits even harder when you pull back the frame. In December 2025, weeks before this lien drops on Quavo, the IRS had just released a lien on his Migos bandmate Offset, after Offset paid off his own $1,575,266.73 debt for tax year 2022. Offset handled his business. Quavo did not. That contrast was not lost on anybody watching.
First, it was Offset owing the IRS, and Offset settled his debt to the IRS, and now
one man in the same crew cleared his tab. The other one let it ride, and now it's public record.
Uncle Sam is saying to Quavo, hey, how are you doing? You need to pay us what you owe.
As of March 2026, Quavo and his team have said nothing. No statement, no dispute, no confirmed payment plan. The lien is live and sitting in the public record. The lien tells you what he owes, but the real question is whether the bag is actually there to pay it, and that answer is more complicated than the headline lets on. Assets, net worth, and what the lien is really touching. The first thing everybody wants to know when they see a $3 million tax lien on a rapper's name is, bro got the money or not? And on paper, the number looks easy. Celebrity Net Worth's March 2026 update, which directly references the IRS filing, puts Quavo's net worth at $40 million. That valuation is built on Migos-era paper from album sales, streaming, and global touring between 2013 and 2022, solo revenue from Quavo Huncho and feature runs, the current market value of his Alpharetta mansion, his car collection, and his share of Migos publishing and master recordings. The $2.9 million lien is already subtracted from that figure. So at face value, $40 million man, $3 million problem should be a phone call. But that math assumes the $40 million is liquid. It is not, and that is where the real story lives.
A lot of times, just because you see somebody look a certain way doesn't mean that they are living that certain way. doesn't mean that their finances is projected.
The flex and the finances are two different things, always have been. And the gap between what a rapper looks like he owns versus what he actually controls in cold cash is one of the oldest traps in the game.
He got it, and the next thing you know, IRS is knocking at your door because you really didn't have it like that, and you didn't calculate, you didn't carry the one.
So what does the lien actually touch? Start with the bricks. Public records confirm Quavo bought an approximately 11,000 square foot mansion in Alpharetta, Georgia in January 2020 for $1,985,000, negotiated down from a $2,098,000 listing. Billboard's March 2026 coverage specifically named that Alpharetta property as the primary real estate asset covered by the lien. No other properties have shown up in any court-adjacent filings tied to this situation. Then there is the fleet. Quavo's documented car collection includes a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, a McLaren 720S, a Lamborghini Aventador, a Mercedes-Maybach GLS, and a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, all personal property that sits under the broad scope of the federal lien. No seizure actions on any of those vehicles have been reported as of March 2026. Beyond the hard assets, there are the intangibles, his cut of the Migos catalog, solo royalties, and feature income, ongoing revenue, but nothing that gets itemized in a public filing.
I'm not saying that they broke. I'm just saying it's a lot go with it. Just because a person is rich doesn't mean they're rich, because if their finances are not allocated correctly.
That word, allocated, is doing the heavy lifting in this whole conversation. A $40 million net worth on paper, a mansion, 6 cars, active touring bookings, and you are still somehow sitting on $3 million in unpaid taxes across 3 consecutive years.
They broke. You can have a guy that's got 10 million, but he's 30 million in debt. That guy's broke. He don't know how to deal with finances well, but he still has the big home.
No bankruptcy filing, no wage garnishment, no additional liens beyond this federal one have been reported anywhere through March 2026. Quavo has a headlining slot at the Mad Island Festival in St. Martin, booked for later in March 2026, so the touring income is still running. The picture: real assets, active cash flow, and a nearly $3 million federal claim that has been sitting unresolved long enough for 3 separate tax years to pile up on top of each other. How you let that happen, how 3 years of unpaid taxes stack up without being caught, traces directly back to who Quavo had in his corner managing the bag, and that story has receipts. Legal disputes, stolen fees, and a history of getting played. The IRS lien did not come out of nowhere. It is the freshest charge on a ledger of financial and legal exposure that has been stacking up on Quavo for years, and a significant chunk of it points at the people he trusted to protect his money. The clearest example starts in 2020. On July 15, 2020, Quavo, Offset, and Takeoff filed suit in California Superior Court against their longtime attorney Damian Granderson and his firm, alleging professional malpractice, breach of fiduciary duty, and unjust enrichment. The allegation was direct. Granderson was also representing their label, Quality Control Music, and had allegedly been riding for the label's interests over the artist's interests the entire time. The specific accusations included engineering an unfavorable exit deal from 300 Entertainment to Capitol Records in 2017, one that allegedly cost the group millions, and mishandling publishing, merchandising, and performance rights in ways that consistently benefited the label over the artists. They called it what it was, being cheated out of millions of dollars. Then on February 3rd, 2021, they dropped the entire case with prejudice, meaning it cannot be refiled. No settlement was ever announced. Quality Control's CEO dismissed the original allegations as nonsense. The case was buried without $1 of publicly confirmed recovery. That whole episode is a window. At the height of Migos' commercial peak, the people overseeing their financial affairs may have been moving against them the entire time.
Sometimes, Ben doing the right thing, he just got people that's stealing from him, and whoever's supposed to handle the taxes ain't paying them, and they were stealing. So they just pocket the money.
This is not just speculation. It is a documented pattern across the industry, and it is exactly what multiple voices tied to Quavo's situation have been pointing at since the lien went public.
A lot of artists be going through that. It's just sometimes, or most of the times, the artists will catch it before the IRS put it all over the blog.
The difference between the artists who catch it early and the ones who end up on TMZ is usually how locked in they are on their own numbers, whether they are in the room when the accountant is giving the report or whether they are trusting somebody else to handle it and just spending. On top of the management dispute, Quavo has been catching copyright cases. In September 2024, Louisiana rapper El Mont filed suit in California, claiming that Quavo's 2018 track Bubblegum off Quavo Huncho bit substantial elements from his own 2015 song of the same name, a track El Mont says he personally handed Quavo on a demo CD at a concert in 2016. El Mont claims he never saw a credit, a check, or a conversation about it. The case is still active as of March 2026. Then in April 2025, visual artist Daniel Arsham filed a federal lawsuit in the Southern District of New York against Quavo, Quality Control Music Publishing, and Hybe America, alleging that a promotional video for Quavo used an unauthorized rendering of Arsham's 2018 sculpture, Quartz Eroded 1961 Ferrari GT, without permission, without credit, for commercial gain. Arsham wants it stopped and wants damages. No resolution has been publicly announced as of March 2026. Neither copyright case has produced a verdict against Quavo yet, but both are live, both require legal defense, and both are adding weight to an already loaded situation. Then, there is the case that already went to trial and already produced a bill. On September 25th, 2024, a Las Vegas jury ordered Quavo to pay $682,000 in compensatory and punitive damages to hotel valet Antonio Henry over a 2018 incident at the Encore Hotel where Quavo slapped Henry following a dispute about moving a vehicle. Surveillance footage went into evidence. Quavo testified, confirmed the slap, and his defense tried to frame the lawsuit as an opportunistic hip-hop lotto ticket. The jury was not buying it. As of March 2026, no appeal or satisfied judgment has been publicly reported, meaning that $682,000 verdict is still an open financial obligation sitting right alongside the IRS lien.
I don't think he was over his money. He probably had a financial advisor or accountant that was over it that didn't do right.
Stack the Granderson malpractice suit, the valet verdict, the two active copyright cases, and the IRS lien on top of each other. And what you are looking at is not one bad break. It is compounding exposure running all the way back to 2018, arriving in waves rather than all at once. And most of that exposure was already locked in before the single event that hit Quavo harder than any court case ever could. Takeoff's death, the Migos collapse, and the price of grief. November 1st, 2022, outside 810 Billiards and Bowling in Houston, Texas. Takeoff, real name Kersnick Kari Ball,